Russell Simmons told Terry Crews to give agent who sexually harassed him a pass. In other words, let it go, man. That was back then. Ask him to reinstate you. But give him a pass. Let him just kind of ease on by this time. And then next time, if he does it again, then you go hard on him. But just give him a pass. Now, I'm sure Russell Simmons is saying this because of the fact that he was brought up on allegations for sexually harassing a teen model, 17 years of age. Now, let me read this article to you, and I'm going to put the article on the bottom. You guys can check it out. Feedback, tell me what you think. Also, I'm going to put a link to a video I did a while ago regarding a debate or an interview between Bill O'Reilly and Russell Simmons. And that was in regards to Beyonce twerking and having sex in the backseat of a limo, right? And then you guys feedback and tell me what you think. But the article reads as follows. Actor Terry Crews posted a screenshot on Sunday of an email he received from hip-hop mogul Russell Simmons telling him to give the agent who allegedly groped him a pass. In response, Crews wrote in all caps, "No one gets a pass." Good for you, Terry Crews. Proud of you, brother. Last month, in the wake of the Harvey Weinstein revelations, Crews spoke out against a high-level Hollywood executive who grabbed his crotch at a party last year. He later revealed the man to be Adam Vinette, an agent with WME, and filed a complaint with the LAPD. Simmons, meanwhile, recently denied allegations of sexual misconduct against a 17-year-old model in 1991. Now, back in 1991, the age of consent was 18 years of age. So it was illegal. So it was sexual misconduct against a minor. Now in 2018, the age of consent in New York is 17. So I think a lot of these ages of consent are not for the benefit of the people, but for the benefit of these high officials, these politicians, these agents in Hollywood and people like that, the lawmakers, the ones that have a taste for little boys or little girls. So as time go on, and it varies from state to state. Some states, the age of consent is 16 years of age. And if I'm not mistaken, there may be some states the age of consent is 15 years of age. But it is legal for an underage child to marry an adult man or woman as long as they have the parents' consent. Find that quite interesting. But again, it's not for the benefit of the people, although the people benefit from it. I think it's more, it benefits those that's in high places, those perverts in high places. And as time go on, they keep changing the laws, making it to fit their own sexual deviance, their own perverted desires. So Simmons, meanwhile, recently denied allegations of sexual misconduct against a 17-year-old model in 1991, saying in a statement that the encounter in quotes, occurred with her full consent and participation. But she was 17 years of age. In 1991, if I'm not mistaken, 17 was illegal in New York State, unless, of course, he was not in New York State, but in a state where 17 at that time was legal. So I'm going to put this article on the bottom. We already know where Russell Simmons' mindset is. He's an agent, man. He fits in that mold where we talk about the Illuminati, the secret societies, his families. He's sneaky, man, and even he likes boys too, if I'm not mistaken. So these are my own opinions, but I think that there's a spirit that's in Russell Simmons that's not right. Yeah, he has the family, right? He's got a wife, he's got children, but yet there's another side to Russell Simmons and his success that we really don't see and can't see unless, of course, you're in that circle. And Russell Simmons is in that circle. So he's got a lot of nerve telling Terry Crews to give the agent who sexually harassed him a pass. That's like saying, give the white man a pass, or those that enslave black people, give them a pass. Forget about it. That was back in that time. You didn't live in that time. So just forget it ever existed. Love everybody. We know we can't love everybody. Okay? Now, when it comes to forgiving your enemies, the Bible talks about that. You forgive, but you don't forget. When you forget, you tend to repeat the same path that took you there in the first place. They say ignorance is a bliss, right? So I think that when situations like this occur, and I still hold firm to it, and everybody have their own reasons for not reporting things like this, but when a certain time period lapse, like when 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years has gone by, the best thing that a person should do if they have not reported it is to move on. It makes no sense to me to bring back 30 and 40 years of sexual allegations against a person for political reasons. Because people nowadays are jumping on the bandwagon saying like, well, wait a minute. You mean to tell me I can get paid for something that happened to me 50 years ago that I never reported and that I never really have to really technically prove? Just say it happened. And if I just say it happens, it can cause a person to be removed from a political position, a person that I really don't like and I don't want there, but because of the fact I can just say that this person did that to me, I'm going to get so much support from my demonic family on this side that don't even require me to produce evidence that this occurred. So now you have so many people, male and female, that's jumping on that demonic bandwagon for financial or political gains. But in a case like this, when this is something that just happened recently, a couple of years ago, and you got people that's, things happen on their job, like where they're sexually harassed and or raped or molested, and they don't say nothing for whatever reason. And maybe it's because of the fact that they are afraid to lose their status, their position, And even Terry Crews had admitted that he didn't want that to affect his career. But I guess after Harvey Weinstein was outed, then something triggered some type of courage in Terry Crews to say, okay, I'm coming forward now. In spite of what happens to my career, I'm now going to come forward, and then I'm going to drop a name. So Terry Crews, which I applaud him for doing that. Okay, but at the same time, and I say this to anybody, male or female, if you are sexually assaulted or abused, man, you need to come forth immediately. I taught my sons from a very young age, man. It's like, listen, I don't care what type of threats they bring upon you. I don't care if they tell you, if you tell, I'm going to hurt your mother and your father. If you tell, I'm going to say this and that about you. I said, in spite of what they say to you, you make sure you let somebody know. You let either me, your moms, or somebody know what happened to you when it happens. Because they can't hurt mom, they can't hurt dad, and they're not going to do anything to you. So, but then again, being the type of parent that I am, and I wish more parents were the same way, I'm somewhat overprotective. I was told that I'm overprotective. So when you have a child that's a certain age, man, you don't let them out of your sight. If they are not with the daycare that you trust, that you did your homework, you investigated, and even, listen, even when my sons were in school or they were at a daycare, and it was a daycare that people that we knew, the woman that had her own business, daycare business, I knew her. I grew up with her, right? So my sons, when I found out that she had her daycare, I went and sat down, talked to her, checked out the environment, checked out the type of kids that were coming there and how she ran the daycare. Even though I knew her, I still had to do my homework, okay? Even people that you know, family members, you have to do your homework. I sat there and watched how the toys that the kids play with, do you clean those toys down after everybody's done playing? Basically, how did you run your daycare center? And then even though I may have trusted the daycare center or the schools that my sons went to, I could leave work early. I'll say, you know what? When I got a break or my lunch break or whatever, and even when I became self-employed, I'll just pop up randomly. They didn't know when I was going to come, but they knew that I could just pop up anytime. So, and in most cases, they usually have you stop at the office when you go into the schools. Well, I was so known by the teachers, just about every teacher in that school, and the principal and the vice principal. I didn't feel I needed to stop by the office. I walked right to his classroom, and I stood outside the door and I watched. If they saw me, they said, we'll sign him in. Right? We'll sign you in, right? And I'll sit there and I'll watch. The little kids in his classroom, all his schoolmates knew who my son's father was. And they usually see me before he do. And they say, oh, there go your dad. And I wave at him. Sometimes I'll call him out, ask him how things are going. And I refused to take the teacher's side. But at the same time, I didn't always take my son's side because I knew my son. So if the teacher said he did something, I'd know if she was lying or not. So more parents need to be involved in their children, man. Do not let them out of your sight. And when school let out, I made sure I was there early to see when he's come out. Sometimes I'll just go into school and get him. I didn't stay outside and wait for him. I went in and got him and the kids were getting their coats, and I made sure, got a little coat, come on, let's go. So it's the parents' responsibility not to let their kids out of their sight, to be put in a position where they could be molested. So check out this article. Feedback, tell me what you think. Subscribe. Until next time, I'm fearless.